Are you curious why someone would refuse to become someone's attorney on their power of attorney documents? Hi, Nancy Beauvair here with Agape and Next Steps, and today I wanted to uncover the top 5 reasons why someone might hesitate to become someone's attorney on their enduring power of attorney documents. Being named as the attorney on somebody's enduring power of attorney documents is a significant ask. There is a lot involved in becoming somebody's power of attorney, and you might want to really consider all of the pros and cons before you agree to take on the role. So, what are 5 reasons why somebody would not want to take on that role for somebody? Well, let's talk about, first of all, the time commitment involved. If you do accept the role of attorney for somebody's enduring power of attorney documents, it takes a significant amount of time to fulfill the duties of that role properly. There's all kinds of things that you must be involved in, from managing the care. In many cases, there's also a medical component to some of these documents. So there's managing medical care for people. There is keeping up with legislation to see if things have changed, managing people's investments, their possessions. It can become a very daunting task. And if you have a busy life, if you have a busy job, or a lot of family obligations, aside from this, it can really hamper the amount of time that you can put into those aspects of your life. It can hinder your job performance, and it can affect your closest family relationships. So that's the first thing that you have to consider is, do you have the time to take on the responsibility and give the proper attention to the role? The second thing that you might want to consider is the emotional and the mental strain. There's a lot of decisions that have to be made, and sometimes these decisions can be very, very difficult. It can be difficult to watch someone who you care about deeply, who you've taken on this role. It can be very emotional to witness their decline, to actually have to take over the aspects of paying all of their bills, making sure everything is taken care of. And over time, you'll have to take on more and more. Then there's also the mental strain that sometimes there can be conflict within other members of the family, and they may not always agree. And what you have to do as the attorney is you have to put your own thoughts aside and act in the way that the person who named you in that critical role, how they would expect you to act. And that can create a lot of strains in relationships. Then there's the whole issue of the legal responsibility and accountability. After all, an enduring power of attorney is a legal document, and that person is trusting you with all of their fiduciary responsibilities, all of their assets, all of their bank accounts, and in some cases their medical care as well. That is a big responsibility as well, to be responsible for every aspect of someone else's life, and trying to balance that with managing your own life and your own affairs and your own financial responsibilities. It can be extremely daunting. And then there's the whole aspect that there are, thank goodness, there are governing bodies that exist for the purpose of attempting to protect the person who has made the enduring power of attorney document from being taken advantage of, because we've all heard those stories where an attorney has not worked in the best interest of the person and has absconded with some funds, things like that. So these departments that exist to protect, there's a double-edged sword there. They're also obligated to respond to any allegations of abuse. And sometimes what happens is, when there can be differing opinions among family members on the power of attorney, sometimes those family members will file a false claim with one of these governing bodies, who are then obligated to investigate. And that is, again, it's incredibly time consuming. You will have to report whatever period of time they want, and you have to present all of the documents and almost like a balance sheet of a large corporation rather than a checking account of an individual. So there's that aspect as well. And if they do deem that you have misused anything, these governing bodies have the authority to then take you to court and remove you as the power of attorney or as the attorney on the power of attorney documents. Then there's also, we've kind of sprinkled family conflicts within these other reasons why you may not want to become the attorney. But there is certainly the potential for family conflicts. It is I would suggest that it's very rare that every family member is going to agree with every decision. At the end of the day, however, as I mentioned earlier, the power of attorney has the legal obligation to follow through with the wishes of the person who granted that authority to them. And believe me, as somebody who is acting as a power of attorney, these can be gut-wrenching decisions at times, to have to be making some of these decisions and remove your own emotions, remove your own feelings from the decision, acting as if, as one lawyer put it to me, you stand in their shoes. So again, if you're not prepared to stand up for what the person wished when they named you as the power of attorney against other family members, then it might not be the best role for you. Finally, there can be some very complex financial transactions here. You're going to be responsible for any investments that the individual had, any of their retirement plans, any of their real property, any of their actual physical property. You may have to continue to make payments, you may have to sell assets, you have to make sometimes investment decisions. And if you don't have much experience with financial transactions, you may find this role extremely daunting. Now, granted, in many cases, the person will have a financial planner, a financial advisor in place that you can confer with. But it's still your obligation to make sure that the advice that you're getting from that financial professional is operating in the best interests of the person who you are representing. So if you're not comfortable with those kinds of roles, making those kinds of financial decisions, again, this might not be for you. So really, to accept the role of attorney for somebody on their enduring power of attorney, there's a lot of considerations here. It's not something that everybody is cut out to do, and there's no shame in declining the role. If you're not the best person for the role, wouldn't it be better for you to politely decline and maybe even make a suggestion of somebody else that you think would be a better choice? So don't feel bad. Being the attorney for someone on their enduring power of attorney is not for the faint of heart. And with that, I'll say goodbye for now, and stay tuned. We're going to present the opposite side of this. We're going to talk about the top 5 reasons why you might want to take on the role. So bye for now, and we'll see you again real soon.